What's up, otakus? We're back with another short haul video, but there are two key books that that I wanted to add to my collection, and these were kind of impulse buys. I kind of went to eBay and looked and really found two good deals on the comics. Now, I wasn't really particularly happy with this pickup because first of all, I mean, the seller, I wanted to leave him a negative feedback, but I kind of reached out to him. What the issue was, and you're not going to be able to tell, it's very hard to see, but this came in a bag, and there was a sticker removed here when it initially came. And what the guy did, there was obviously a sticker on the comic bag, and he tried to remove it with the comic in there, and he's using his fingernails, and his fingernails actually scraped into the book. So you can see fingernail indentations there, like scratches, like indents and scratches there. You have to look really closely, but it's there. And I was just like, dude, first of all, I get that you want to get a sticker off a bag. If you're going to do it, take the comic out, take the sticker off, and then put the comic back in the bag. Don't try to take it off with the book in there, because you're going to scuff it up, scratch it up. And that's exactly what happened. So I was really disappointed. So I went to him and I said, can you, this, I mean, not that I paid a lot for this. This isn't an expensive comic, but we were hoping to get this in high grade, right? Because I think this has a lot of spec potential. And I'll go into the reason why I think it has a lot of spec potential. But yeah, it was really disappointing. But the guy did give me $1 off. I was looking to get, at least kind of half of what I paid back. But the book wasn't a lot to begin with, and most of it went to shipping, and the guy just wouldn't budge. So anyway, he agreed to just give me $1 discount, $1.15 discount. I said, that's fine. So what ended up happening was he gave me the discount. I've yet to leave feedback. I could technically still leave negative feedback, but what I'll go ahead and do is I'll just give him a neutral feedback and kind of write out my issue with the book. The fact that there was, just a little bit of damage there, the top part of the and he acknowledged that had happened. So it's not like he was saying it wasn't him, but again, disappointing. Those kinds of things, you got to learn how to handle your books. That's the first thing you should, for any collector. If you're going to collect comic books, treat these things like the delicate, treasures that they are. Don't just be taking them out of bags and boards and getting your grubby fingers on them. No one wants to, I even see people doing it with their bare hands. I always try to put on some kind of plastic food serving glove or something when I'm taking books in and out. And I'm just very careful. And I try not to take the books out of the bags, if ever. Sometimes I have to, because I have to just change bags or, reorganize and put two, for example, I have two comics in the same bag. That's not recommended either, but I don't feel like that's damaging the books per se. It's just, for me, a way to save on bags and boards and keep things consolidated. But yeah, learn how to handle your books and don't run into errors like that, because it's really frustrating for people who get the books and then find that it's not, especially a modern book like this, that it's not an absolute near mint condition. Okay, enough of me ranting there, but the reason I picked up this book is because it's the first interior art. So it's the interior art is done by Becky Cloonan. The cover is Greg Capullo. And Becky Cloonan becomes the first woman to do interior art on a Batman book. And that's pretty significant. Again, I think representation in the comic book industry is so important. We should have really more women contributing to all areas of comic books. And they are for the most part now compared to the past. And more people of color represented both in comic books and in the industry. And that's been nice to see. I think we are seeing that, but of course, more progress can be made, and hopefully we'll see more, again, representation in the industry, and it won't be an issue. Once there's a broad representation of people in the industry, a diverse sort of representation in the industry, I think you'll get the best results. And we're seeing that now, with artists like Peach Momoko, and all the great female writers that are out there. So it's just nice to see. So yeah, this is again a very noteworthy book for its progressive sort of history making, epoch making creator here, Becky Cloonan, again, the first woman to do interiors art on a major Batman book. Okay, so with that, we're gonna get to a big book. Now, I got this, again, as an impulse buy, and the reason I got it was because I was watching Comic Tom, their top 10 trending comics, or top 10, yeah, basically one of their top 10 lists. I think it wasn't the top 10 list, it was one of their runner-up lists, where they're going over, books on key cover. And this book apparently was trending upward, but really the reason I got it was because it's just a great book. It's not a spec book. I think this book really has a lot of long-term value, whether it goes up a lot now, whether it goes up gradually over time. It will be one of those just classic books that you want in your collection for a multitude of reasons. And we'll go over sort of what they are as we take a look at the book. Now, I got a great deal on this. I got a great deal. So it's not like I was intending to buy it. Basically, I watched that Comic Tom video and it came to my attention, the significance of that book. And it's something I said, okay, let's look for it. Let's keep it on the back burner and try to pick it up if we run across it. And that got me just going to eBay and kind of typing in the comic to look for if there were any deals. And I found one. So I hopped on it. I thought, man, that's for the seller. I don't think knew sort of this had probably been in the guy's collection for, and he's not like a serious collector. He's more, he does collect comics, but he's more into, I think, he's more into coin collecting. The guy is more of a coin collector because that's what's, he had some really high priced coins in his collection. And you can tell the books, he didn't know much about it. He just, I asked him if the book had been pressed and he said, what's pressing? He didn't know. I don't know if he's sort of feigning that, faking that he didn't know, or if he actually really didn't know. But it looked like the book hadn't been pressed. And again, I think he had just priced the book he had underpriced the book for what other sellers on eBay were selling it. And I think compared to those other more pricier listings, this is a better grade. And again, it's just, it was really undervalued in my opinion. So I've got to cut through all this tape. I am just going to, try to do this while I'm talking. So yeah, I was very happy. I know I'm going to be happy with this, irregardless if, because again, this is not a high grade book, and the guy kind of went into detail what was wrong with the book, so I knew what I was buying. And again, the price was just so good. Um, like for this price, I I would, the grade doesn't matter. The grade really doesn't matter, but I know this book, and yeah, it looks beautiful. So so this is the book I got. What If #1. And for anybody who's read Amazing Spider-Man #1, in that story, Peter Parker's just trying to get some money for Aunt May. He's having a really difficult time trying. I think he puts on the costume and he goes and fights some people and wins this competition. And in order to get the money, the check sent, the guy says, "Hey, we need your social security number, and you need to tell us who you are in order to make out a check to you." And he couldn't even cash a check because he can't give up his identity. And so he makes a decision. Hey, maybe the Fantastic Four is a nonprofit organization. Maybe they'll need a fifth member to join, and they'll pay me to fight with them. So he infiltrates the Fantastic Four headquarters, and they basically fight him and kind of start losing to him. And then Peter said, Spider-Man says, "Hey, look, I just want to join you guys. How much do you pay?" And they said, "Oh, we don't pay you." And Spider-Man just leaves, basically. He's like, "Oh, okay, I came here for no reason." And what this is the sort of the first book in the comic, I guess, Marvel canon that introduces a multiverse possibility, the possibility of different timelines. And Uatu basically kind of hosts this scenario where he says, "Hey, what if we revisit that time in Spider-Man 1 and that moment where Reed Richards, rather than telling Spider-Man, 'Hey, we can't pay you, sorry, you can't join,' had made an exception, or Spider-Man maybe had made the decision, you know what, even if you don't pay me, I want to join you guys. I think we could be more effective as five." And so this is sort of the dawn of the Fantastic Five, sort of a what if scenario had Spider-Man join the Fantastic Four. So for me, I think that in and of itself is just a cool concept. Again, it's a #1 issue. This what if, it kicks off this what if series. I know the what if series is really popular now, but even I think when that show goes away, this comic book, just because it's again an alternative timeline to ASM 1, and it really for had Marvel gone this route and fused the team, who knows, maybe we'd be associating both these two great franchises as one unit, the Fantastic Five. But I just always thought this image here with the five, the five on everybody's suit, and the five, everybody kind of putting out five fingers, and the five on the Spider-Man suit. I thought that's a funny image. Now, this is a John Romita cover. So I think it's both John Buscema and John Romita Sr. Contributed to the work on this book. John Romita worked on, I believe, Spider-Man and Invisible Girl, where John Buscema did all the other characters, but they kind of collaborated and both contributed to putting this beautiful cover out. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so this is an instant Bronze Age classic. And when Comic Tom brought it to my attention, I was just like, dude, I've got to have this book. I got to have this book, because you just got two pillar franchises at at a historic moment. It's kind of revisiting that historic moment in ASM #1, where they have a classic battle, but it's again proposing this alternate timeline. And if they cover this story, which I'm sure they will, I don't see how What If, a What If TV series, obviously you got to introduce that story, the Amazing Spider-Man #1, the clash between these two teams, or sorry, the Spider-Man versus Fantastic Four. You got to introduce that. I don't think too many people, even in comic books, might not know of that, their first matchup and the results of that encounter. But yeah, should Marvel somehow put out that story or make known that story, they can go back and then focus on the What If. But I think the What If series are just focusing on stories that everybody's familiar with. I haven't watched any of the What Ifs, so let me know in the comments if you're watching the What Ifs, if they focus more on just sort of the comic book history, or if they're trying to do the What Ifs based on common knowledge through the comic book movies. I would imagine it's the latter, because the movies are what probably most people have who are watching, those kinds of multimedia contents. They probably have more of an understanding of the movies rather than the comic books. Okay, but yeah, this is, let's take a look at the grade here. I haven't been able to, there are things wrong with the book, but they're not, in my opinion, things that would warrant like big grade drops. First of all, it's a very clean book. There's no like foxing whatsoever. You can tell just by looking at it. It's a pretty vibrant and white cover. The pages are as well. What this book is it's a square bound book. So there aren't staples. It's been glued. What you'll see here is there's a little bit of a spine roll here. It's been kind of flattened out, so that square bound has just been flattened out, and it's but I mean it maintains its integrity. It's not like it. Oftentimes what you'll see in this cover is just wear, but this one you don't see that. So I knew that when I got this by looking at the photos, that it was in good shape. You can see that right there. No spine ticks. Just there's this sort of like, I don't know if you can tell, there's sort of like an indentation here, like kind of like a roll, or like a, what should I say? Like it's kind of like a mild fold. You can probably see it right there through the Mylar bag. Maybe you can't. There, you see it right there. You see that? Again, that can be improved with a nice press. And the other issue is there's this sort of tear along the edge. That is probably due to a printing cutting flaw. But there's, again, it looks like it was just miscut. So you have these strangling edges there. I can tell you right now that this was not one of those situations where they're trying to trim the book, because oftentimes when you see trimming, you'll see the spacing along here be compromised, and that's not what we're seeing in this particular situation. So this book was not trimmed. If it was trimmed, they should have done a better job here on the top. So again, the guy looks like he just had this. He has a bunch of older comics. It looks like he had this in his collection. He's more into coin collecting than he is in comics. And it looks like he just wanted to sell some of this stuff in his collection, had it priced really, really, at a real discount. You know what's ironic is, so I got this book for about, with the discount that the guy gave me, I got this book for $8. Okay, I got it for $8. I got this book, and I'm not, you know, I'm not really kidding you in this instance. I got this book for 12 bucks. For 12 bucks. Can you believe that? So when I saw this, first of all, I did make sure that it was the grade I wanted. To be honest, even with this tear there, and there's actually a hole right here as well. I don't know if you can see it. There's a hole in the book. And there's sort of like a, you can see it kind of flaps over. But what we can do is we can put that flap back to cover up that hole and then press it, and it'll present a lot better. But yeah, those two minor flaws right there, this bend here, that can press out, so I'm not concerned about that. This little thing here, that hole right there, and this sort of edge tear, as well as the edge wear on the top, again, with the press, I'm thinking this will improve. We can get that kind of folded over, pressed, and looking better. There'll still be a hole there, but again, not all that major. And again, that should improve with a press. I don't even think it needs a clean. It just needs a real good press, but we'll clean it as well to improve the white presentation of the cover. And I'm telling you, with that press and clean, this looks like it could come back a solid 7.5, 7 to 7.5. It's just a beautiful looking book. No creases. The back, I checked the back. There's a little bit of a foxing in the back, but it's very, very faint. You can't, I mean, it's pretty much white throughout the back, except for like a slight, like kind of, you know, graying that you can't really tell. It's very faint. So again, with those issues, I think again, a good clean on the back, good press. It's already looks fabulous. It already looks fabulous to begin with. And again, for 12 bucks to get this high grade of a copy, you know, I wouldn't even put this at the mid grade. This is high grade. We're talking about, you know, like a 7, a 7.5 on this. Should it, again, with the press and clean and just yeah, this is something I definitely want to get slabbed. This is slab worthy right here. And to pick it up for 12 bucks, I'll do it all day. All day. This is just one of those deals. Again, there are really mid-grade, sort of janky looking copies selling for over 20 bucks, 30 bucks for this particular issue. I know this issue's kind of on people's radars right now. I was really fortunate to find that listing for 12, and I jumped on it. Again, that isn't too big. I mean, it's a big issue, but it's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna drop the grade all that much. And again, with a nice press and sort of, you know, kind of putting these paper curls back, shaping them nice, getting it pressed nice, that should present better. But it's not like they're actual tears or rips. It's just, it got miscut, and the miscut led to these sort of strands there. So yeah, those are, again, this issue here, well, there's a little hole in the book right there, hole that we can flip back over, that area here. And again, overall, it presents really well, just needs some TLC with the clean and press. Okay, so again, let me know what you think of this pickup. And I just, again, given the significance of ASM #1 and how famous that story is, and the fact that, you know, Spider-Man's first attempt to join the Fantastic Four in that first issue was kind of thwarted, and you know, Spider-Man and these two you know, powers in comic books didn't really get to pan out, like a partnership didn't get to pan out. But this issue paints a very different scenario, and it takes us down the road of what if it was the Fantastic Five. Okay, so again, very happy with this pickup, and comment below what you think of this pickup, as well as my Batman Batman book. I think these two books are just you know, must-haves in the collection, just given their significance like that. I went over why I thought these books are important to collect, and why they're in my collection. So, yep, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.